Why are Inuit being banned from hunting? Who makes these decisions? And most importantly, who should we really be afraid of? The hunter with a harpoon or the consumer with a credit card? Imagine this: minus 40 degrees, a blizzard, absolute silence except for the crunch of snow underfoot. No roads, no trees, no familiar life. There's no Wi-Fi, no supermarkets, no 9-to-5 job. Just ice, wind, and the struggle to survive. This is where the Inuit live, the indigenous people of the far north. Their culture is one of the oldest and most resilient on Earth. They survive in conditions most people wouldn't last a single day in. Their life is constant adaptation, deep respect for nature, and the passing of knowledge from generation to generation. But today, in the 21st century, they face a new challenge, not from the cold or hunger, but from bans, from laws, from international organizations deciding who is allowed to hunt and who is not. Even when hunting isn't a choice, but the only way to survive. Where the Inuit live, trees don't grow. In summer, swamps, mosquitoes, wind. In winter, eternal night, snow and ice. A place where even your breath can freeze. One wrong step and you're dead. Supermarkets? Don't be ridiculous. Food delivered from the south costs 3-5 times more. A can of beans might cost as much as a restaurant dinner. Half the shipments are delayed or never arrive. This isn't exotic. This is about people choosing between seal meat and starvation. Inuit have no greenhouses, no livestock, no farms. Everything they get comes from the ocean and ice. Hunting is the foundation of life. It's not a hobby. It replaces farming, transport, and industry. To catch a seal, you have to know where it breathes under the ice. One mistake and you lose a day or your life. Hunting a walrus takes strength and skill. It can flip a boat. A polar bear is deadly. Hunting it isn't bravado, it's necessity. Sometimes self-defense. Every hunt is a team effort. Men go out on the ice. Women prepare food, repair clothes, treat skins. It's a full survival cycle. It's what makes a people a people. But more important than anything is philosophy. Inuit have no illusions about nature. It can give or it can take. The animal hunted is not a trophy, it's a sacrifice. And every kill comes with a ritual of gratitude. Because nature is not an enemy or a friend, it's a force to be balanced with. Boys learn to hunt from an early age, not for fun, but for survival. Girls learn to process skins, preserve food, cook everything from walrus meat, from roasts to soup. This is knowledge passed down for generations, and all of it could disappear because of bans created by people who've never stepped onto the ice. The turning point came in the 1970s. The Western world was shaken by footage of baby seal hunts, tiny furry animals in blood on white snow. Shock, outrage, protests. These weren't Inuit, they were commercial hunters. The ban came quickly. In 1983, the EU banned the import of seal products. Sales collapsed. Canadian Inuit lost their only source of income. People who had lived off hunting for centuries were now poor. Meanwhile, big fishing companies kept operating. Oil platforms kept drilling. Tourists flew to the Arctic for authentic experiences. But traditional hunting became taboo. Quotas appeared. To hunt a polar bear, you had to fill out forms, submit reports, get permits. Don't speak English or can't write, you're breaking the law. Literally. One hunter was fined for giving a bear paw to a neighbor, once a sign of friendship and respect. Now, illegal trade. Inuit tried to explain they had nothing to do with commercial hunting, that their practice was about survival, not profit. But no one listened. The voices of cities were too loud, where hunting is seen as a horror movie scene. And the most absurd part, the same countries that imposed bans continued selling meat from massive industrial farms. The indigenous hunter is punished for survival, while corporations are forgiven for destruction. The Western world lives in comfort. Warm houses, stores with plastic-wrapped goods. Meat comes vacuum-packed. Skins are fashion. People are detached from death, from reality. So when they see hunting photos, they're horrified. They've never seen a cow die, never gutted a fish, never smelled blood. In this world, hunting is savagery, especially if the animal is cute. Protecting it feels noble. Banning its killing feels like progress. But this progress has a dark side. It's blind to context. It ignores how others live. It assumes its truth is the only truth. Everything else, barbarism. Global organizations like PETA, Greenpeace, WWF often don't distinguish between an Inuit with a harpoon and a poacher with a speedboat. To them, it's the same, and that's a problem. People want to see the world in black and white. Hunting, bad. Protection, good. But in the Arctic, that logic breaks down. There are no factories, no takeaway coffee, no delivery apps. There's ice, snow, meat, and a human. And that human isn't asking for help, just not to be interfered with. The paradox is that the Inuit are among the most sustainable and ecological peoples on the planet. Their way of life uses minimal resources and leaves no waste. Yet they're accused of cruelty, simply because their culture doesn't fit modern norms. What happens when hunting becomes a crime? People lose meaning, lose skills, lose self-respect. Youth stop valuing tradition. Hunting is banned. Language is useless. Rituals are backward. A vacuum appears. It gets filled with TV, alcohol, depression. According to the Indigenous Peoples Institute of Canada, rates of depression and anxiety among Inuit youth are 60% higher than average. Suicide is an epidemic. The cause isn't just poverty, it's loss of identity. For thousands of years, the Inuit were self-sufficient. They didn't need shipments, didn't depend on southern economies. Life was hard, but free. Bans destroyed that system. Instead of hunters, welfare recipients. Instead of craftsmen, the unemployed. Instead of rituals, the internet and emptiness. Many Inuit say they feel like strangers in their own land. They're told how to live. They're limited. Rules are dictated, with no dialogue. It's not just pressure, it's violence. Hidden but real. One elder said, "The West sees us as killers, but we kill less than they buy in supermarkets in a day." For Inuit, hunting is a ritual, a form of gratitude. They ask forgiveness before the kill. They share the meat, use the skin, render the fat. Nothing is wasted. Killing doesn't mean destroying. It means accepting a gift and remembering where you come from. In 2009, a protest was held in Nunavut. People in sealskin parkas held signs. "We are not your enemies. We are your neighbors." These images didn't appear in Western media because they break the narrative. A hunter named Elina, mother of 3, said, "I can't feed my kids with what we don't have. If I can't hunt, I'm left with hunger and shame. Who is all this really for?" That says it all. These bans weren't made for the Inuit. They were made for people who want to feel like good people, even if it destroys an entire culture. In recent years, Inuit have started speaking more at the global level. Their delegates speak at the UN, climate forums, and address human rights groups. They talk about climate, about nature, and the right to live as they always have. But even here, their voice is quiet because it doesn't fit the narrative. Indigenous means poor and needy. But Inuit aren't about pity, they're about dignity. And if we don't listen, one day we'll simply forget they ever existed. Polar bears aren't disappearing because of harpoons. They're disappearing because the ice is melting, and the ice is melting because of greenhouse gas emissions, not from a village on the bay, but from industrial capitals. Whales aren't dying because of hunters. They're dying from plastic in the ocean dumped by megacities. Seals aren't vanishing because of traditional practices, but because of commercial shipping and oil platforms. And yet, it's the Inuit who are told, stop. They're the ones blamed. They're the ones restricted. Even though they've lived in harmony with nature for centuries, never taking more than what was needed. Banning hunting for an Inuit is not about protecting animals. It's about banning life. It's an attempt to erase a culture without leaving a trace. It's not ecological progress. It's cultural violence disguised as concern. If we truly want to protect nature, we need to start with honesty and honestly say, the Inuit are not the enemy, they are its allies. And if they disappear, we'll lose more than a unique culture. We'll lose knowledge of how to live with nature, not against it. We'll lose a language with dozens of words for snow, but not one for power. We'll lose a worldview where land isn't owned and animals aren't tamed, yet both are respected. We'll lose a living memory of a time when humans were still part of the world, not rulers over it. While humanity builds new cities, increases production, burns billions of tons of fuel, and launches the next wave of green initiatives, those who have never broken the balance are punished by environmental policies. This isn't a fight for the animals. It's a fight for control, for land, for resources, for the right to decide what's correct. A world where a native hunter is called a criminal and an oil company is called a sustainability partner is not saving nature, it's selling it. The real threat isn't the spear in the hunter's hand, it's the drilling permits, the fishing quotas, the cargo ships sailing under the flag of liberal values. The paradox is this: those lecturing the Inuit on morality today may be building luxury resorts on their land tomorrow, or extracting minerals there in the name of public interest. And if we don't stop, it won't just be the Arctic peoples who disappear. It'll be the very idea that humans can live on this planet without destroying it. The Inuit are not a threat to nature. The real threat is indifference, arrogance, and endless consumption. Because those who see nature only as a resource will never save it, but those who see it as home will never destroy it.